What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy, Mark, and Eric here, and we have 10 minutes to talk to you about doing a truck dump, essentially telling you what's going on inside of, actually, my truck. This is Jimmy here right now. We are on the road doing some scouting for an upcoming podventure, or a podventure that may have already happened, depending on when you listen to this. But Mark pointed out the fact that there's a lot going on in my truck right now, and I can see why he would be saying that. Because I do like to always come prepared for just about everything. Think I get that from my dad. Riding around in trucks and cars for many years with my dad. That man always has a full truck bed. I mean, the entire bed is full of tools and things. I've never seen him in a situation he couldn't get himself out of. So anyways, I guess I try to emulate that in some ways. But I couldn't probably go through everything. I've got a floor jack sitting next to me, a 2-ton floor jack. I have an impact driver. I've got a shovel in my lap right now, all kinds of emergency lights. I have Bic shavers. I've got switchblades, all kinds of crazy random stuff. Trekking poles, shotgun, trad bow target, oil pan, whatever. I'm going to go through, though, the top 3 recovery items and top 3 tools in the truck. First off, the recovery items. Mark and Eric, this stuff is important. I don't know if you guys carry this in your trucks. Recovery tools. In this case, my top 3 are the Bubba ropes, which are these they're a special kind of a recovery rope that you would use like between you and another truck or something like that if you or the other person was stuck. Got one of those in here. Another recovery item that is very important is if you have a 2-inch receiver on the back of your truck, I highly suggest carrying around a 2-inch receiver thing that gives you a recovery point for shackles, like big D-ring shackles. So I always have one of those in my truck that can be adapted into that 2-inch receiver. So that way, if you happen to be, a lot of times cars will have their recovery things right on the front. So a recovery hook will be inside your bumper or underneath the bumper, right next to the subframe or something like that. There's always a point on the back, but it's not always really easy to get to if your whole car is dug into thick snow or if you're in mud or something. So that receiver is right in the middle. It's right at about like knee height, so it's easy to get to. And I know it's come in handy many, many times for me. And then the other recovery thing that I have, of course, is a jumper box with jumper cables that's self-sustaining. You don't need to connect it up to another car because you're not always around another car that can pull up to the front of your car. Sometimes it's an awkward place. I've even seen people in the middle of the city not be able to get jumper cables over to their car because they're pressed in a parking space in a parking garage right up next, too close to the cement or concrete wall, and they're just not able to get over there. So I've got that, and it's able to fill tires with air, and it even has a 12-volt, like a cigarette lighter looking thing adapter for power.
Fantastic.
Those are my top 3 recovery items.
Those are good ones.
You guys carry those around?
I don't carry any of those, no.
That's all right.
I probably
I've seen
should.
your truck. Your truck has a lot of shotgun stuff in it.
Yeah, I mean, assorted hunting things depending on the season or maybe everything at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm remiss and it's probably irresponsible to not carry those 3 things, honestly. I'll find myself in a pickle.
It helps. I last year pulled 2 cars out of snow ditches. Actually, they were both within about a week of each other. It was kind of weird. It was a Honda Accord and actually even another truck. They were just stuck in snowbanks and they couldn't get out. So I was able to connect up some of my recovery gear with them and just pull them right on out. And it's a huge help. I mean, they didn't have to call a tow truck, wait around forever, spend all the money. I was able to get them out. Luckily, I didn't get stuck myself, but had I gotten stuck, we almost did in Nebraska, Mark. It would have been nice to have, for example, this receiver with the D-ring shackle on is pretty huge.
I don't know what we would have done in Nebraska. There was
nothing around out there. Honorable mention, I do also carry around like a tree saver and stuff like that. If you ever have to wrap, recovery rope or anything like that around a tree, you could potentially kill the tree if you don't have a tree saver around it to basically hug the tree rather than strangle the tree.
Very eco-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tread lightly. Top 3 tools.
Large truck treads lightly.
Top 3 tools in the truck. The 2-ton floor jack is huge. It was not suitable for lifting up this 7,000-pound diesel truck, but it is suitable for lifting up onto Civics and other people's, Chevy Sonics and Accords and whatever else is out there in the parking lot. It's come in handy many times when needing to replace some flat tires and I've just found that oftentimes the jack that's included in the car is just not enough. It's too slow. They work in a pinch, but something like an actual legit floor jack is much quicker. It also has all kinds of sockets attached to it and a little mini breaker bar, so I've been able to change quite a few tires with that floor jack there.
Jim, I'd be curious to know how many people have the same story of, then this guy, he's in a Dodge Ram, he just came out of nowhere, and he got me out of a jam.
Thing.
Well, you never know, I guess.
I'm fine. Like, most of the things that you're carrying with you aren't for you.
Yeah.
Right. I guess the
Like
idea,
Robin Hood.
the
Around
idea,
doing good deeds.
yeah, it's kind of like like
stealing.
like a karma thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though whatever,
You're a
about
good
karma,
person.
but, if you're nice to other people, then maybe someday they might be like, oh, that's that one guy.
That's the guy that pulled me out of the
That's the
ditch.
guy that did the thing. Let's see. Other important tools in the truck. One of the most important tools that I have is a 12-gauge shotgun in here, but I also have my impact driver in here, which again just makes changing tires and doing most general maintenance on vehicles much, much easier. Breaker bars work, but sometimes they don't always get into the tight places and stuff, so got the impact driver on me at all times. And, just got to make sure you have the batteries charged up for it. That's the only thing. Last big tool that I keep around, actually, in the impact driver, it's not always in the truck, I'll be honest. I know it's kind of an unrealistic thing for some people to have in their truck. I do have other things in here, like a flashlight, of course, like a multi-tool. Multi-tool gets used all the time for little things, but the impact driver is one that I absolutely love. Last one that I will mention that is a exceptionally important tool. I don't know why you would ever even own any vehicle, not even just a truck, without having these, at least 2 of these on hand. Ratchet straps. Gotta have ratchet straps.
Jim, that is the one thing that I do keep with me at all times. I think I've got like 6 of them in my truck now.
And good, you can never have too many.
Nope.
I've got 4. 4 seems to be adequate for me. In fact, they could probably use a little bit of a replacement because I see, they're starting to get all beat up and rusty on the hooks and stuff. But they still are ticking after, I think I've had these for 3 years. And ratchet straps are so handy. If you ever put anything in your car that ever has to, I've seen it all the time, people in little sedans, hatchbacks, where they got to keep one of the doors open or the rear trunk open to keep stuff that's bigger than the trunk actually in the car. Guys with trucks or gals with trucks have stuff where their truck bed is open and it's all flapping around back there in the wind. You don't want it to fly out of the car. You can actually get a pretty big fine for that or a ticket for that because it's irresponsible driving. Ratchet straps will hold all that stuff down. I've held tires, mattresses. I've held just random, when you throw a bunch of crap in the back of your truck and it's all just sliding around all over the place. Just a couple ratchet straps. Every truck usually has some kind of points in the back and the bed of the truck that allows you to hook on ratchet straps. Or you can hook them on to, all kinds of stuff.
Great for hauling deer.
Great for hauling deer.
Oh, Jim, I used them to get my deer in the bed of my truck last fall. I shot a deer. I was by myself. I got it back to the truck. And, one person didn't have a great way, so I actually used a ratchet strap. I think I got the hindquarters in the truck. I don't know. I got one in the truck first and was able to, ratchet it up and get close and then lift the other end. And
oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
It's almost like a come-along in that case.
Yep. Yeah.
And, they're just really strong rope with hooks on the end, too. You cannot deny that is extremely useful. And one story that I like to tell a lot of people is that at one point I got these really heavy gun lockers for my house, and some people helped me put them in the truck. I drove home, and I didn't have anybody help take them out of the truck, but I didn't want them to just sit out in the elements because there's steel and stuff like that. So what I did was I rigged up a system around the base of these big gun lockers. Each one weighs probably 300 pounds or so. Brought it back around my hips and my waist for a low center of gravity. And I just hunkered down in the bed of the truck and just basically scooted along on my butt while I pushed them off. And then eventually, once they made it to the end of the tailgate, they teetered on up and they started to pendulum up. And from there, I was able to just slowly bring them down by just using myself as an anchor. And this, 300 plus pound gun locker thing just made its way on down to the ground, and then once it actually hit the ground, I could slide it into my garage, but wouldn't have been able to do it without my ratchet straps.
I'm going to say it sounds genius. I'm also going to say I don't think that's recommended.
No, I almost wound up being like a trebuchet. I almost trebucheted myself into the upper portion of my garage.
I don't know what that means, but that does not sound good.
Slingshot.
It's like a gigantic slingshot.
Okay.
Like industrial grade. And with that, we're at 10 minutes. So what do you guys got in your truck? We want to hear about it. What is your trunk dump? Top tools and things you carry around in yours. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Right.